Yo, what's up guys, welcome back. Next match, Cross-Banlist Cup, last match here of the top 16 playoffs, and then we can move on to the left side still, so the losers bracket. One match remaining. We have, two more recent decks, one from 2020, so that's pretty much COVID format, or right after COVID format, right? I'm not sure, I think so. We have Infernoble, so a deck from 2020, again one of the more recent decks in this year's Cross-Banlist Cup. It's a huge powerhouse, unbelievably consistent going first, simply because, you know, Smoke Grenade is ridiculous. It's a confiscation, right? While on the other hand, we have a true Draco Zodiac, right? Having access to Masterpiece and a small Baboon engine, so this is a deck from 2017, that's a deck right before COVID format, right? When, well, not COVID format, but Link format. So right before Master Rule 4. So I think both these decks are very close to each other, as in power level. While I do think that I could definitely agree with the people seeing that Infernoble Knights, well, if you take a look at both decks, let's say Zodiac going first, or, you know, true Draco Zodiac, or Infernoble Knights going first, I feel that, you know, especially going first, Infernoble Knights has the advantage, simply because of the confiscation effects actually during your opponent's turn as well, plus the vomit your entire hand to the field and make make a big board, make a huge board that true King or true Draco Zodiac has a lot of difficulties in breaking. While on the other hand, if we take a look at the the Infernoble Knight deck, it has access to a lot of powerful extra deck cards like Nibiru, which is strong, especially against the Zodiac hybrid of true Draco deck. So anyway, I drew the one off being Maxi, and I'm honest, if it wasn't for Maxi, I probably would have lost this one, because again, as you know, this deck is Prime Helki Fibrex into Link Cross combo, and as you know, basically any 2-card combo, Warrior combo equals Isolde, and Isolde on her own is already Helki into full combo, into your full Infernoble Knight combo, which is like ends on a couple of floodgates, Omni negations, plus the the Smoke Grenade discard, so peek at your opponent's hand and then discard the card, which is again fantastic against basically any deck, right? Especially if the deck is not running too many hand traps, bar Maxi. So I'm ending on Dweller. This, in hindsight, was a strange play, but I was like, I mean, imagine if there's Dark Ruler. But again, it doesn't really make sense, simply because Dweller is not that fantastic against Infernoble Knights. It blocks Phoenix Blade, I guess, but that's pretty much it. Doesn't matter. So I take this one. So post side deck, it goes second and no Maxi this time. Do we have a chance going second? It's an iffy one, maybe. Because again, like, this deck is super consistent. I'm looking at Infernoble Knights. Again, any 2-card Warrior combo is Isolde. That's Helki into Link Cross into, you know the combo by now. We've seen it multiple times. And if you take a look at my hand, if the deck is able to end on Savage plus probably the, Herald to, macrocosmos a lot of my cards to the, well, not to the graveyard, but to the banished pile, then that's a problem. Definitely a big issue for a deck like True Dracos and Zodiacs to some extent. So yeah, this is basically full combo. Prime Infernoble Knights, heavily leaning towards, as it was back in the OCG, during 2020 formats, heavily focused on, the Hulk Dawn combos, because it gave the deck so much advantage, especially with, is it Coldwing, I believe the name is, the, the Mecha Phantom Beast one, yeah, giving you the extra 2 tokens, reborning the desk bot as well. So, Smoke Grenade discards the Dynamite Fighter, and I do draw into Baboon. Such a nice tech back then. Baboon, when it's like summoned to normal or special summoned, draw a card and then send 1 card from your hand back to the deck. Fantastic. To recycle those cards that you definitely don't want to have in your hand. Plus, when Baboon is like destroyed, it can special summon 2 other copies from the deck. So from Diagram, the True Draco Field spell from Barrage. That's basically a free Invoker play, a rank 3 Exceed play. So crazy stuff. So this was, pretty much an easy one. So okay, go first again. Game number 3 post side deck. I side decked in the Chalices. Because the thing is that we know Nibiru is there, could be there. Dark Rulers are definitely still there, one of them in a hand here. But I think I need to play into Nibiru, simply because I'm like, well, I could go for like Trident Pass, maybe. But that's super weak, like only one interruption, and then maybe with the Chalice, that's 2 weak interruptions. And as you know, Infernoble Knights, like this, a deck from 2020, it can play through multiple interruptions. And let's say if I keep my disruption, the deck can pump out like a Herald or something like that for, you know, that potential last negation that you keep for your Auroradon or for the opponent's Auroradon. They're in this situation, so I could have... I was thinking of maybe keep the Chalice, right? Yeah, the Imperm, right? But I'm like, well, or at least now that I think about it, the deck can probably put up, like an early Omni negation to shut down my remainder, or my at least one out from me. So a Herald is an out, I guess, or could have been an out if the Isolde wasn't negated. Maybe an early Savage. Is the deck making Savage early? Depends, because the combo was done a bit different. Because the Living Fossil was activated on the, was it Gamba? The Gamba, I believe the name is the level 2 warrior, Fire Warrior one. So I don't know. I don't think it would have mattered. Herald probably would have hit the field much sooner if I still had one set. I think you can expect at least one interruption, right? Like Chalice or something like that. I do side deck in Ghost Ogre as well. Simply, this deck didn't really main deck too many, or side deck too many hand traps. That's a big flaw. Well, if you know it, like if you can compare both decks directly, that's a flaw for this version compared to Infernoble Knights, which is, you know, multiple 2-card Helki Dawn combos. So this is pretty much game. It doesn't really matter too much. Charles can still activate, pop something on my side of the field. Sure, I do have my normal summon, but this deck doesn't have access to Zeus, sadly. I mean, even with Zeus, Gearfried is... maybe. Yeah, Gearfried is still there. I guess you could maybe play around the Zeus or force out an early Zeus. Whatever. So I think in the long run here in this, this also is a very mediocre play, but the thing is that, like, what are the names? Oliver and Ogier, they both, you know, give Charles that protection effect, right? They cannot be targeted, cannot be destroyed. And Tornado Dragon was a very weak play. Maybe I could have, you know, attached Whiptail on Trident, but it's not going to matter too much. You know, used Ogre previously on Charles, but the deck has just still so much fuel left. I'm still in the duel though. I still have Barrage, still have, is it Heritage? I believe it's Heritage. Trident is useless, but the thing is that I need to play around at least one monster negation, being the Gearfried. Plus, I'm not sure what Ogre or Ogier says. Is it cannot be targeted or cannot be destroyed by card effects? It's one of those two. You know which one I mean. So get Ignis on field, but it's not going to matter. Yeah, it's indeed getting negated. I do get a search, you know, get an, the Pot of Avarice one for the potential draw. I draw an Apocalypse, I think. Yeah, no, return. But here in this situation, it's not going to matter too much, because again, did I trigger Ignis? Yeah, it's getting negated by the, the Gearfried, and I do have a return indeed. But it's just going to get, well, the monster that I, you know, reborn from return, it's just going to get attached. Millennium Eyes, or, you know, 1000 Eyes, restrict alike to the Gearfried. And yeah, Savage being an Omni negation and Gearfried being that monster negation. Nope, I'm not going to win this one. So, not looking too good. Game number 4, and go second and immediately get blown away by an Ogre. I guess Ogre is strong against this deck. I mean, it was side deck back then for a reason, hitting the field spell Diagram or hitting a Zodiac, for example, to prevent your opponent from going for Trident. But I get the Beerroot as well. So again, this is a deck I think I have to play into the Beerroot to get many interruptions going, or still have multiple plays for potential disruptions. And the Nibiru was there, and this is not a strong play. I guess I should have. That's probably the better play, even though in the long run I don't think it's going to matter too much. I should have destroyed the Nibiru itself, and then, you know, Isolde would have used her effect. I would have searched something, but okay, there is still Chalice, and again, depends if they're going to play around Chalice or not. probably, right, put up an early either Savage or probably the Herald. You can easily make, you should, you know, probably go for Herald as soon as possible to shut it down, because again, the one card in hand is known, is, I guess, public information, I think so. So again, not looking too great. The gear feed is just too much. And we see Dark Ruler in hand as well, so nope. Plus Red Layer and the Renault in hand as well for follow-up plays. Plus, I think Renault is able to get the gear feed back, right, from the graveyard, if I do out it, just in case. So Apocalypse hits the field. I know that I can use it, but I'm left at, what is it, 1900 life points. That's not going to cut it. So this felt like a losing battle, but seeing both side deck, I think we have a well-deserved winner. Side decks were, you know, important, let's skip it. It's the same combo, right? Same as before, as we've seen multiple times already in the video, but I think we have a well-deserved winner. The side deck was kind of clutch, kind of crucial, but power creep, etc., Masterpiece not coming through, and even Masterpiece is only one interruption, and again, the deck can play through multiple interruptions. So it is what it is. So all the decks are known, you know, top 8 right side, the losers bracket on the left side, and we'll start with the first match here on the left. Upper part, we have Insectors, one of the most hated decks. It's going to take on Ravine Ruler. So interesting one. Which deck is going to take this one? Okay, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a comment or like. If you enjoyed the video, leave them signing out. Peace.